Have you ever wanted to run Android applications on a desktop PC? I'm a mobile application pen tester, which basically means that my job is to hack mobile apps. Sometimes it's really nice to be able to spin up an Android emulator really quickly and install applications on that instead of using a physical device, and I'm going to show you what kind of emulator that I use and how I go about getting my emulators up and running. To answer the first question, what kind of emulator do I use? I personally prefer the official Android Studio emulator. There are some others out there, like Genymotion is a pretty popular one, but I just really like Android Studio. I feel like it's very well maintained and lots of documentation and things around it, so I just really prefer that one. So the first thing you're going to do is just go to developer.android.com/studio and you're going to download Android Studio. Once you download that file and run it, it's going to send you through a setup process. Once that setup process completes, we can just click finish and then start Android Studio. Once we have Android Studio installed and launched, we want to click on More Actions right here, and then we're going to go to Virtual Device Manager. Now from this page, we can either click Create Virtual Device, or we can click the plus in the top left, and that will bring up the menu where we're going to actually create our emulator. We can choose whatever hardware we want right here, and this really doesn't matter that much. It's mostly just about the look and the feel, the size of the screen, that kind of stuff. I'm just going to select medium phone because I don't really care that much about what kind of specific model number it is, and this one does have the added advantage that it actually supports some pretty older versions of Android, and some tools that I might want to work with in the future may need those older versions, and something like a version 35 might not work with what I want to do. But once I've selected that phone, I'm going to hit next, and now I need to select the actual version of Android that I want. You can select pretty much anything you want, but I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to select API 31 because there are some tools that I might want to use later that I know for sure work with version S, which may not work with some of the newer versions. If you are using this version of Android for the first time, you will notice that right here next to the system image, there will be this little downward pointing arrow. You will have to click that in order to actually start downloading the system image before you can proceed. But once you've downloaded it that first time, you won't have to download it again in the future if you want to use a different emulator using that same version of Android. And you'll notice that that down arrow is gone, and now you can just select that system image and then click finish to proceed. And now I have a working Android emulator. Most of the things that I would want to do with a regular Android device, I can now do with this emulator. If you're interested in learning how to root this emulator or how to maybe install some different hacking tools that I might use in my day job as a application pen tester, hit the subscribe button and stick around, and I'll be making videos about that coming up soon.